All right, a dog named Riley has become more than just a best friend to his owner. His owner actually saved this dog's life.
Yeah, it all started with the owner first saving the life of Riley. Now tonight we take you inside the follow-up story of Zak and Riley. Dan joining us with more tonight. Dan, the story went national.
Yeah, it did, Mark and Shauna. Some may remember this amazing story from 4 years ago when Zak found Riley at the bottom of a 350-foot slot canyon. Zak posted it on YouTube and it now has more than 3 million hits. But tonight, we hear the rest of the story.
Disbelief. Just pure disbelief.
38-year-old Zak Anderegg has quite the story to tell.
Easy.
With his 4-year-old dog named Riley.
He is the sweetest, kindest dog.
Riley has not always looked so happy and healthy. Here's what he looked like when Zak and Riley first met 4 years ago. Skin and bones. And what kind of condition was he in?
Probably the worst of any animal I've ever witnessed. 4 years later, he's as healthy as can be.
What a lucky dog you are.
Zak and Riley's story is the kind of thing you see on talk shows and read about in books. That's just what Zak did. He wrote a book. It all starts Sunday, June 20th, 2010.
I was out camping in the desert.
Zak, an experienced hiker and climber, was east of Paige, Arizona on a canyoneering trip.
I had a bunch of gear, rope.
He was 2 hours into his climb when suddenly...
This is where this dog is.
I looked over this little ledge, I guess. I see 12 feet below me this little black thing just circling, walking in circles, pacing.
Did you know what it was?
Not a clue.
What did you think it was?
First I thought I was hallucinating.
I cannot believe I found this guy.
It was no hallucination.
As far as I'm concerned, the only way he got here without having broken legs is someone actually put him here.
It was Riley, believed to be abandoned and left for dead at the bottom of a 350-foot cliff.
You could count his individual ribs, you could count his vertebrae. Between his rib cage and his pelvis, where his soft organs were, the skin had just collapsed to nothing. It was horrible.
Zak gave him food and came back the next day with a plan to hoist him out. Why were you so determined to get him out?
I felt I'd been witness to something really wrong, and I was going to do everything in my power to right the wrong that I was witness to.
But the story doesn't end with Riley being saved. That's why the name of the book is Rescuing Riley, Saving Myself.
Instead of hugging me or holding my hand as I crossed the street, she would sit on me and pin me to the floor by the wrist and say,
You see, Zak says growing up, he was abused emotionally and physically by his own family and friends, feeling much like Riley in that canyon pit, beaten, alone, and forgotten.
The act of finding Riley where I did and the circumstances that I found him in really struck a chord with my past. I really saw a form of myself.
As Riley healed over the years, Zak too found strength to move forward.
As I witnessed him recovering and healing, and I witnessed him trusting people and embracing life and going back out to the desert and loving being in the desert, he really began to serve as a great example of how to heal from your past.
A canyon adventure that brought together two strangers in the most unusual way, bringing healing and new life to both.
He's really taught me to do your best to leave the past in the past. Carrying your scars or your wounds forward don't really serve you in any way.
Now, Zak says when he pulled Riley out of that canyon, Riley weighed 17 pounds. Today he weighs 75 pounds. Now, if you want to meet Zak and Riley, you can actually catch him tonight at 7 o'clock at the Barnes & Noble there in Sugar House. Zak will be signing copies of his new book. For more information on this story also or other Inside the Stories, go to our website, KUTV.com, click on Features and Inside the Story. Mark and Shauna?
I've loved this story from the beginning. My 14-year-old Dan, Mom, you have to see this on YouTube. And ever since, I've just been fascinated by this man.
When you watch that YouTube video, it's
Yeah.
just so captivating to see that whole thing.
And hard to hoist the dog out of that position,
Yeah.
too.
He's a hero.
Yeah.
Both of them are, actually. All right, Dan, thanks.